Hey y'all, this is going to be kind of a quick rapid fire video today, but just a couple of days ago, I saw on Miss Hailey Piper's Instagram story that the sequel to The Worm and His Kings is coming out. It's going to be a trilogy, excuse me? And I got so excited, and so I started digging around for other books that are going to be coming out around the same time, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I know it's only August, but we're going to talk about mostly 2023, early 2023 releases, upcoming releases that I just found out about recently, and I'm super excited about. I'm also going to be sprinkling in some late 2022 releases as well, because I don't want y'all to think I'm totally off my rocker. But I'm going to try and put this in the best order that I can. So we're going to start out with books coming out this year in October, and we're going to be ending with books that are coming out in 2023. And I can't wait. So the first book on the list is Lute by Jennifer Marie Thorne. This is coming out in October this year. It's blurbed as The Wicker Man meets Final Destination, folk horror, idyllic island, and on this island, 7 people die every 7th summer. Honestly, it sounds kind of Midsummer to me as well, if you've ever seen that movie directed by Ari Aster, with the whole, death thing. Okay, so that was Lute coming out in October. Another October release this year, I don't know why I'm saying this year like that's surprising. The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Nayler. Nayler. And when I read the short little blurb for this, I got so excited. So I really hope this lives up to my expectations. So it's considered a first contact alien story, but not aliens from outer space. It's aliens from our own ocean. It's like there's an octopus species that has been it's hyper intelligent, has its own culture, and language, and there's this global competition to exploit what has been found, because of course there is, and that just sounds absolutely fascinating. Another October 2022 is White Horse by Erika T. Wurth, and it is about an indigenous woman who discovers a bracelet haunted by her mother. That one sentence blurb was enough for me to be curious to check it out, because I don't know, that just sounds really good. We got yet another October release. It's called When the Night Bells Ring by Jo Kaplan. And this is kind of a climate horror almost. So it says, this near future horror novel follows climate refugees who discover a diary from the 1860s in an abandoned silver mine and soon encounter the terrors that its writer described firsthand. I love enclosed horror, anything dark, you can't see what's around you, you can't get out. Anything kind of like the movie The Descent. I love that movie. And this seems kind of like The Descent, but in a mine, and also climate crisis. So yeah, of course that sounds good. This next one is not a horror book. This is by an author that I own quite a few books of and have never read. So that book is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. And I've always been drawn to her work because it's very set in nature, particularly kind of the Appalachian area. And I'm from North Carolina, so the Appalachian Mountains do mean a lot to me. And I'm talking she is excellent at what she does and represents the South and Appalachia very well, but I've never read anything by her. But once again, I'm putting something of hers on my TBR, apparently. So Demon Copperhead is coming out in October, and oh yeah, it's a reimagining of David Copperfield, but set in Appalachia, contemporary Appalachia. A boy born in a trailer to a single mother navigating the perils of his social class. I mean, I'm down. I love retellings of classics, and I seem to think I love Barbara Kingsolver, even though I've never read anything by her. So there you go. Okay, moving into November this year, Desert Creatures by Chronister. Chronister. I'll admit, I decided I wanted to read this just by looking at the cover because the cover is stunning. And I read the synopsis and it was kind of hard to like cut down into one, little blurb, but the synopsis kind of gave me the vibes of The Stand by Stephen King, but without the plague that's in The Stand. So it says it's post-apocalyptic, and this girl, and I think her father, I could be wrong, is going on a pilgrimage to the holy city of Las Vegas. And I love that whole post-apocalyptic cross-country traveling vibe. I can't think of a lot of books that I've read that do that. I think I just love The Stand, and it's forever burned into my brain, and I have such fond memories of reading that book. So yeah, I want to read this. I at least want to put it on my shelf because it's freaking beautiful. So those are all the 2022 releases that are coming up that I wrote down here. Obviously there's a lot more. Obviously there's more that I'm excited about that I talked about in my mid-year freakout video that I did in July. But I really am making this video for the early 2023 releases, if I'm being honest. And I know that is unhinged, but hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Rachel. So in January, there is a book called The Daughters of... Oh, wow, I really should have just figured out pronunciations before I got into this. The Daughters of Izdihar by Hadeer Elsbai. I apologize. Anyway, it is a fantasy. It kind of has the Prince and the Pauper vibes, but an aristocrat and a poor, lowly bookshop worker come together to use forbidden elemental magic to fight against the patriarchy and for women's rights. And I think it's like set in Egypt or something, or Egypt adjacent, like fantasy world based around Egypt, I'm pretty sure. But that sounds so cool. Elemental magic? Absolutely. And then, okay, yes. A release that I am incredibly, incredibly excited for. If I thought about it too long, I might cry. It is the very anticipated, much anticipated sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. It is called Don't Fear the Reaper. Jade is coming back to Proofrock after, I think, 4 years of being away, maybe 3. A lot of time has passed. Jade is coming back to Proofrock, and there is a serial killer, an escaped serial killer on the loose, finishing his revenge killings. Okay, the book that made me want to immediately make this video. The second book to The Worm and His Kings by Hailey Piper. It is going to be called Even the Worm Will Turn, and it is The Worm and His Kings Part 2. She has already said that in 2024 there will be a third book, making this a complete trilogy. What is it with these 2 books coming out as standalones and the author's going, here's the trilogy though? I am so excited. There is no description about what Even the Worm Will Turn is about, and I don't care. But that is supposed to be coming out in January, I believe, but it might get pushed back. Hopefully it does not. I'm so excited, y'all. Okay, I have just a few more on here. That was the big news. Woohoo! But here's a few more that I found when I was doing a little poking around. Kingfisher, my queen, my queen is coming out with a book called A House with Good Bones. It's coming out in March. And all I wrote down was Southern Gothic and family secrets. I love Gothic fiction. I know it's kind of a polarizing genre or subgenre of horror. It doesn't really have to be horror, but I know there's people that is just not their thing, but I eat it up. And now Kingfisher's coming in hot with some Southern Gothic, and I'm just so excited. Anyway, okay, that's it. That's not it. That's it about that one. The Spite House. by Johnny Compton, coming out in February 2023. Also a Southern Gothic. It is a Black Southern Gothic thriller. This is about a man who has accepted a job as Why can't I talk? I swear I only had 1 cup of coffee. This man has accepted a job as a caretaker to this old house. The owner of the house wants to know if it's actually haunted. So our main character, who has become the caretaker, is mostly tasked with looking for paranormal activity. It's said to explore grief and death. I love horror that explores those themes. I think it is the perfect genre to explore that. And I don't think this will disappoint. So finally, the last one. Oh, this just sounds so cool. Okay. The last one I have on here is The Thick and the Lean by Chana Porter, coming out in April 2023. First off, the cover. She's beautiful. This is a food-centric book, which I love books that center food, whether it's a romance book or a fantasy. I don't care what it is. If there is detail given to the food, if there is a character that is passionate about food and eating and exploring food, I am excited. So, just to get that little disclaimer out of the way, this is a food-centric, not fantasy, but kind of. I don't really know what this is, actually. Anyway, we have an aspiring chef. We have a cyber thief, that sounds cool, and a kitchen maid trying to break free from a society where abstaining from food brings you closer to God. I love religious commentary. I love food. This sounds amazing. And the cover, once again. This author is also known for writing a book called The Seep that was rather polarizing when it came out. People either loved it or hated it. I never read it. I might try and read it before April so I can get a feel for this author's writing style. I have a feeling though, even if I do not like The Seep, I'm still going to be picking The Thick and the Lean up because it sounds so good. So here, that was my unhinged, kind of word vomity, freak out of books that I'm excited that they are existing. What? I hope you've had a fantastic week and continue into a fantastic weekend. Fern says hello to all of you out there. And yeah, thanks for sticking around. What releases are y'all excited about that maybe, I don't know, coming up in October or as far away as April next year? I don't know. What are some authors that you're excited to read more from? Let's chat. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about books that don't exist yet when all of these books that do exist have not been read. Yeah, let's talk about that. Bye.